Why is it that some people are successful and other people aren't? Usually the lazy way to explain away this phenomenon is by saying that well, successful or rich people are lucky or they inherited it. But this isn't necessarily true. And the facts and the stats are against it. 84% of millionaires are self-made. Why is it the rich get richer and the poor get poorer? It all comes down to one word: attitude. Your attitude is the biggest differentiator when it comes to whether or not you're going to be successful. Unsuccessful people weaponize words against themselves, and successful people use words to uplift themselves. Let's put a successful and an unsuccessful person in the same category of wants. They both want a car. A unsuccessful person will say, I could never afford that car. I'm just not that lucky. Or if I win the lottery, I could afford that car. Whereas a successful person would say, how could I afford that car? Or I've just got to make enough money to afford that car. And that is one of the biggest differences. It's just the attitude on whether or not you can actually accomplish the things that you want, or even if it's a possibility for you to accomplish the things that you want. That is the attitude difference between successful and unsuccessful people. The truth is, your subconscious mind, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, is always listening to you. And it believes you. It believes the story that you're telling yourself. Whatever you continuously tell yourself is what you're constantly creating in your life, whether that be good or bad. You're constantly soaking in the energy of your thought patterns and your attitude. And that's why it's important to have a positive mental attitude. A positive mental attitude is a major key to success because it allows you to see things that aren't there yet and still think it's a possibility. Whereas people that don't have a positive mental attitude will either make excuses or they will deny the possibility of their desires even having a chance to happen. The fortunate thing about this whole situation is that you can change your mind and you could train your mind to view things a little bit differently. We have two minds: your subjective mind, which doesn't really filter anything, and then your objective mind, which filters everything. The subjective mind is what makes things really happen and everything start to fall in line. You'll start to connect the dots and see things and patterns and synchronicities to help you get what you want. Your objective mind is the mind that you rationalize with, that you decide what's real and what's not. The beautiful thing is you can train your objective mind, which in turn will affect your subjective mind. What does this mean? Your beliefs are just a set of programs and information that you've put in your mind over a consistent set of time. You can change these beliefs by changing your input. So you can put in better information. If you want to be rich, you can study wealth. You can research it. You can listen to interviews of people that are wealthy. You can study the statistics on it. And the more you do this, the more you take in this information, what ends up happening is that your perception starts to shift. It shifts because now what you believe is true is changing. Unsuccessful people take in information that is usually spoon-fed to them, and they will use that to create their reality. The information that's usually spoon-fed to them are things that have no consequence. Sports, celebrity gossips, TV shows, news. These things have no consequence. They're not going to really do anything for you or make you better or change your perception of reality. But if you want to get over into that success zone, you have to shift your thinking, and now you decide what you're putting in your mind. You make a conscious effort to focus on the things that you want. For example, I want a Lamborghini. I found out how much Lamborghinis cost, which Lamborghini I want. I went online and I designed the Lamborghini that I want. I found out the lady that is the lead saleswoman for Lamborghini Toronto. Her name is Heather Ballantyne. I found out who I would have to be dealing with. And then I went on Auto Trader, the car sales website, and I turn on alerts for anything that has to do with the Lamborghini model that I want. Now, what this does is it allows me to see that this is the number I'm looking at. Now, how do I get to this number? And because I'm constantly being reminded, I have it on my vision board. I watch videos about it. I watch videos on how to open the doors and, where the secret cup handle is. Because I'm doing all this, I'm letting my mind know that a Lamborghini is within my possibility. And I constantly take in this information so I could stay on top of things. I'll watch documentaries on the history of Lamborghini. So I'm learning everything I can to change my perception on what is real and what isn't. Now, if you'd asked me this 10 years ago before I got the information that I got, that wouldn't have been a possibility. There's no way I could have got a Lamborghini. But now, since I wanted it, I started to figure out which ways can I get to this? What methods of work or value can I add to the marketplace that will give me the opportunity to be able to afford a Lamborghini? And that's pretty much the method you could use to change your mind. That's the shift from successful to unsuccessful. I no longer tell myself the story that I cannot. I just ask the questions, how can I and when will I? That right there is the mindset shift. You are more powerful than you could even comprehend. And you have no idea what you're capable of. And based on my studies, it seems like there's a certain set of people that are heavily invested at keeping you ignorant about your true power. But that's a whole nother story. You see, wishing and wanting doesn't get you anything, but desire does. When you really desire and you really have an emotion behind what you want, then you can get it. When you put a strong emotion and desire behind your goals and you start to change your thinking, that's when things start to change in your life and your perception starts to change into a negative state of mind to a positive mental attitude. And that is when you start to transition from being unsuccessful to becoming successful. Here's the best part. There's a 4-step plan for making your dreams come true. Number 1 is write down all the conditions you want in your life in all the categories: health, finance, relationships. Write down the best possible conditions. If you could live your dream life, don't hold anything back. Just write that down. That's step number 1. Step number 2 is read the list of your goals out loud, morning, noon, and night. A good way of doing this is by setting an alarm or a reminder in your phone for you to do this, and you go to a private place that you could go to and you just go over your goals. You could put it in a note in your phone, or you could carry a little notebook with you. Number 3, you want to impress your mind with your goals as much as possible. If you want to go somewhere, watch videos about going to that place. What's traveling to that place like? If you want a specific thing like a car, watch videos and learn about everything you can about the car so that you could have it really deeply ingrained in your mind, all the fine details of the goals that you want. You can follow hashtags on social media of the thing that you want. You can create a vision board. All these things are going to start to program your mind to see more of what it is that you want. And then your mind starts to believe that this could be your reality. And number 4 is important. Do not tell anybody about your major goals. Keep it to yourself. Now, I'll admit I'm a habitual breaker of this rule. I don't follow this rule because my mind is strong enough that if I have a detractor or somebody that brings negativity towards my goal, I will take that energy and I'll use it to accomplish the goal even more. People saying negative things about my goals and dreams only makes me stronger. But for a lot of people, they could actually take their energy and make them less enthusiastic or even give up on their goals. Just because you're now starting this journey, I would suggest that you don't tell anybody your goals. Just keep it to yourself and do the first 3 steps. And you know what? You won't believe it right away. You might think the whole thing's stupid. But the truth is, the results that you currently have right now is based on your current beliefs. So whether or not you think it's stupid is irrelevant, because what you think to this point, or what you have thought to this point, is exactly what got you the results that you're probably not happy with at this point. The only way to really get change is to do something different than what you've been doing. Remove your logical brain from this for a second and just believe and follow the steps, because this is not something a random YouTuber is telling you. I've studied this, and many successful people, many millionaires, athletes, top performing athletes, and people that are considered successful do these things. It doesn't matter what you believe. What matters is just following the process. And it's okay to change your goals. Matter of fact, if you change your goals, that's a good sign. That's a sign of growth and progress. That means you're starting to understand and really get what you truly want out of this life. Don't feel discouraged if you change your goals, because that's actually a good sign. Now, to get yourself warmed up, I would start off with smaller, easily accomplishable goals so that you could build momentum. Because once you see that you could accomplish these things, you're like, wow, I just actually did that. And maybe you couldn't do this particular thing before, but you followed the 4 steps. Start off with something small and accomplish it. And then you use that momentum and you keep building and building and building until you finally get to your giant goal over an extended period of time. Always keep in mind, it takes time. Now, what do you have to lose? Give it a shot. Try it out for a year and you might be surprised where it takes you. Really and truly, you probably have nothing to lose. With all that being said, I hope this information was valuable, and I hope you use it to change your life. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.